You've reached Avery Silman, owner of Silman Ranch. I'm not available right now. If you're calling about an order, get in contact with Sanford Williard. He'll take care of you. Otherwise, leave a message, and I'll get back to you when I can.
Avery. You stubborn. Why aren't you picking up the phone or answering my text? I swear if you don't... Okay, look. I know how hard that had to be to hear. And I know you. You're stewing right now, running every scenario in your head, already deciding how this is gonna end. But it's over. It's done. I never meant for this to spiral like this, Avery. I thought it'd be simple. You talk to him, get some answers, and come home. But I underestimated him. I didn't think he was that dangerous. I was wrong. But I'm okay now, I promise. Lincoln's people are watching over me. Watching over your niece. Darren will never set foot in a Projexis building again. He won't touch me again. So stop, please, Avery. Just stop. I know you. I know what you're thinking, what you're about to do. But I'm begging you, don't take this any further. Yes, he put his hands on me. Yes, he crossed that line. But I survived. We survived. And I will not lose my only brother over this. Call me. Call me now. We found Jasmine. She's alive. And that has to be enough. Please, Avery, let this go. Let the universe deal with that son of a bitch, Darren Fontano.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ripping the Silverback, episode 69. 69 for 69, baby.
Yeah.
The cultural significance of that number, who knows? I'm coming live from the echoey new apartment where I have nothing to absorb sound. So we're in a cacophony of bouncing audio
All over the place.
all over the place. And I love it. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Had some workmen doing some shit in the apartment. So, it's all good. I am, of course, the Silverback, and I'm joined today by Rip. How you doing, Eric?
Doing good, man. Keeping busy. It's been a wonderful last week, obviously, between the closing of what closed? Great War closed.
Separation 2, Zaylen,
and then we of course launched the Mighty Golden Patriot over on Ripper Send side. So appreciate everybody that's been showing love to all of those projects. And yeah, just staying busy, and we got some other stuff that we're cooking up as well. So yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we got what we got going on there. We got Yaira 3. We got Isom 3.
Yep.
We got
Horseman number 1.
Horseman number 1.
Yep.
Yellow Flash has got Golden Patriot on a Ripper Send.
Yep.
There's a lot of shit going on.
So much going on. It can be a little bit much to keep up with. This is why we recommend that you are keeping tabs on all of our social media, because you never know, man. We might just drop some just to do it. So, but I do appreciate all the diehards out there. You guys are amazing, pre-ordering everything that we release, and thanks for showing the love and support, really, for Yellow Flash and John Dillard first project from Real Flash on the creative side, and yeah, already $60,000 in raw sales, as well as what is it, 2,200 books sold? Where are we at? I haven't checked. Yes, 2,220 books sold. So thanks to you all for all that support. It's almost been a week. It'll be a week going into Friday. So yeah, great week, great week.
We got a this is gonna surprise you, but we got a lot of things to talk about today.
Yes,
because it's not like that ever happens. Normally we just sit here and just like, what should we do? And we're just like,
yeah, kind of just like what why we even have a show kind of situation. Yeah, you're right.
Anything going on with you in your life? It's okay. Yeah. But this week, crazily enough, stuff happened. I want to start off with the blatant, because I got good news for you, Eric.
Okay.
Doctor Who is saved.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. I'm glad they could turn it around. That's fantastic news.
They did. They got a huge boost in ratings this week. Okay. And they posted the just checking my the second lowest overnight of history.
Okay.
Which is a triumph.
Absolute triumph, that actually.
Yeah. Now that is ahead of the lowest ever rating in history, which was the week before. However, it wasn't quite enough to go above what was the lowest ever rating overnight of all time, which was the 2 weeks ago. So, baby steps.
Yeah. One step at a time.
Baby steps.
You gotta roll with the punches, right? There has to be incremental improvement. And so that's fantastic news. Doctor Who is saved.
Not really. And we've got the +4s in for last week, but not the consolidated, because they're desperately trying to fudge this as much as possible. And as you can see from the +4s, it is impossible for the consolidated numbers to be above 3 million. So Doctor Who's consolidated are going to drop below 3 million
for sure,
for the first time ever. This show just keeps breaking records.
Oh man. That is I don't know, man. I do believe that they have to have some self-awareness that, and then every time I say something that's logical, like, oh,
yeah, I was gonna say, do you think? I don't think so. I think there's a huge.
Well,
we are telling the right stories. We're telling the right stories that people need to hear.
Well, it's stubbornness too, right? It is one of those kind of, they're in a peculiar situation, for lack of better terms, because look, it's not going in the direction that they would like it to as far as the fan reception, but we have seen a lot of doubling down really in every project. I feel like in every that's what we're always talking about. It's like I think one of the themes of the show is that you will see, definitely when it comes to like mainstream or nerd culture stuff, you'll see a lot of doubling down where so they don't get it, or maybe they do get it, they just don't care. That's always a possibility.
When it's not your money.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you explain to the people, maybe they don't know as how the BBC gets their funding.
Well, the BBC gets their funding from extorting the British public and selling their products abroad as well. So if you're capable of selling your product abroad, then you don't need the British public to fund your extortion scheme. So how's about you just fund yourself? How about we just get rid of the license fee? How about we don't try and incorporate it into the tax system? How about you just fund yourself, and then you can stick by the principles which you so clearly wish to, and then you can live by the sword and die by the sword. And if you think you're going to die by the sword, then that's when you rely on the license fee.
Well, I mean, also, it's like, look, if they were in a position, I guess that can be said for any company that gets all of its funding from the government, right? It's like, does it serve a purpose to exist if it can't fund itself? And my argument, obviously, from the economic perspective, is no. So but that's the thing. If you did strip that away, you would have a bunch of weirdos who would insist, well, we can't have the BBC go away. It's like PBS out here because of this is getting funded, this is getting funded. And I always say, so what?
Yeah.
I mean, it works like that everywhere else. If Riververse doesn't have the funding because we're not making the sales, what happens to us?
It's not, no offense, Eric. It's not my problem.
It's not.
It's not
the people's problem. It's not the people's problem. It's like, no, we're cooked and we go under, and that's it. It happens with most companies.
Yeah, but they're exactly.
But
exactly.
They're in this position where they're not operating with their money, and you wonder if, I don't think you have to wonder, I'm using that hypothetically or rhetorically, wonder if that has a lot to do with the direction that they have gone with Doctor Who, is because it's like, look, we're going to get our monies elsewhere. So it's no real, what incentive really do you have to change?
No, you can literally just say, brilliant, we've got our money, we can do what we want in terms of story. We don't have to be held accountable. We don't have to justify what we do. And Russell T Davies has gone full Russell T Davies. I mean, he has a niche. He produces niche products anyway. But Doctor Who was mainstream, and he made it mainstream, and he made it for families, and he made it for everybody. And as tends to be the case with these insane, broken in the head ideologues, it no longer becomes enough to just make good family entertainment. No, now you've got to preach our lifestyle, our lifestyle. Now, I would say that when your specific way of life requires so much propaganda, then maybe it's not something for everybody. And by anybody, I mean pretty much everybody.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Well, so you do you, and if you want to do a niche show every now and again for that, yeah, no problem. But if you think you can push a niche lifestyle onto masses, where for the most part, bar abuse and stuff like that, biology will determine your way of life. It seems kind of weird, but we've been saying that for a long time now.
That is very true. Yeah, look, they're in a. The thing I love about this is it is more or less a symptom to, I think, a larger problem in entertainment right now. Now, obviously, it's different because we do have these corporate entities, right, that are out there that aren't necessarily. They're not the PBSs, they're not the BBCs, right? They're not. But as far as how they bank, well, not necessarily that. That's how they bank rolled, but the people in the position still have the same mindset. And what I mean by that is that it's not their money.
Yeah.
Right. So if you bring someone into the company that isn't even cognizant of funds at all, and this is something that I'm always trying to echo to, for example, I don't know if you know as, but I'll have a business myself. And
I might have.
Yeah. Just a small, it's a small one, but I have one nonetheless. And one of the things that I always try to put in perspective behind the scenes is just how much things cost, right? Now, obviously, depending on like Alex, who is my financial right hand, he knows more than everybody for the most part, even myself, because that's what I pay him to do. As far as making sure the money is good. But in the same respects, I want everybody else to kind of at least be somewhat aware of how much something costs. If I send something to the printer, right? Like if we have to make an adjustment, right? I want my editors to understand like there's costs associated with it. Just using that as an example, right? If I have to make a change, right? Like it'll be whatever. just using that as a prime example, just so they can understand when they're doing their day-to-day, right, that it's a cost to it, right? And when you are salaried hourly, I can get it. It's like kind of an out of sight, out of mind thing. But I think that it's very, very important to have at least some level of transparency, especially with folks that are making some creative decisions. But it's not like that with the mainstream. I don't think they even could do that if they want to. Sure, if you are a shareholder of one of these massive companies, you can get in on some of these calls and you'll get some information as far as what the actual bottom line. But the creatives, sure, they might have a bonus structure. Maybe they might get some little kickback if they get some producer credit or something like that. But for the most part, they're paid, they are commissioned, they are contracted, and whatever happens, no matter if it blows up a fucking studio, we talk about that in gaming, right? Even if it blows the studio,
not a problem.
It's like they're like, whatever, I'll move on to the next studio. It wasn't my money to begin with. I got paid. Contract over. I got paid. I got my bread.
You fired. Oh, okay. I've been let go from Dragon Age: The Veilguard, BioWare. Oh, EA's just hired me. Okay.
That works.
Wizards of the Coast have just Wizards of the Woke have said, hey, you know how you destroyed that company? Can you come do that to us? And they went, sure, just pay me. And they went, oh, no problem.
Yeah.
Wait, look, you're a businessman, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there is incompetency at your company, you get rid of it, right? As Robert Ma Burnett would say, it's show business, it's not friends business. Okay. Sure. So when you've got a problem at your company, you get rid because they're going to prove to be a liability to the company. It's not going to help the company. It's not going to grow the company. You know, there's loyalty to an extent, but then that loyalty has to end because this is a business and it's about making money.
Absolutely.
And if somebody's going to cost you money, then they got to go.
Yeah.
Because history will repeat itself, and it always does. It's like DIE hiring. If you want to bring in weak links and you're holding on to the weak links, then that's your problem. That's a problem you've created yourself. You shore it up, you strengthen it. There is none of that with the BBC. There's none of that responsibility. You can literally hire who you want, which seems to be the case. Hire all your friends, which Leslie Headland did for The Acolyte. She literally just hired all her friends, hired a wife, got fucking paid. The show cost an absolute fucking fortune. And it was a piece of dog shit, an utter piece of dog shit. And it wasn't just a piece of dog shit because of who she hired, per se. It was a piece of dog shit because the writing was abysmal. The story was a joke. It made absolutely no sense. This person clearly had no idea how to construct story, never mind Star Wars. So when the fundamentals are gone, the BBC is a corporation that doesn't even have to deal with the fundamentals.
Right.
Where you can get hundreds of millions of dollars of the taxpayer, of the license fee payer. You can get 100 million from Disney or whichever country or corporation that you've sold the license to or sharing the license with, and you just do what you want. So if the BBC was a corporate, was a corporate, a self-funding corporation,
right?
It would have been bankrupt years ago.
Would have been cooked.
And if you take away the license fee from the BBC, it will be bankrupt within a year. Because they don't have any properties to sell anymore. There's pretty much nothing that they have. Maybe a show or two, and a show or two ain't enough to sustain what they've got. So that at the very least, they'd get themselves in a situation where they're probably downsized by like 80%.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now that says to me that if that is the business model of your corporation, why the fuck are we funding it? Because we're literally funding you to exist because you wouldn't be able to exist without it.
Yeah. It is quite the model. Now it's beneficial, lucrative even, if you work within it It's like government, right? In general, which is who's subsidizing this. I brought this point up a million times. Not to get too political, but it's just more of an economic thing than just straight politics, right? But seriously, government, as an example, does not fund itself through voluntary exchange, or voluntary means like a company must. Okay. So in order for us to exist at the Riververse, we have to sell books, merchandise, whatever services on the River Send side, fulfillment, stuff like whatever we have to sell. There has to be a voluntary exchange. The minute we don't like, if our service is lacking, people don't like what they're getting, then that's the day that we go under, right? So people stop exchanging funds. Government doesn't operate like that. Okay.
No.
Well, they get all their money from extorting all the citizens through taxation. The money that they don't get via taxation, they're selling off assets of unborn people through deficit spending, which America has. Pretty much everybody with a central banking system is doing this, but particularly
privatization.
Right? Exactly. They're able to they're operating with money that no individual company has access to, and they're playing by a different set of rules. So when you look at, like, for example, government, and people look at like they think that government efficiency, right, is even possible. I mean, shout out Doge, but it's almost antithetical because they don't have the incentive to be efficient in the first place. Because if government fails, right, or which they do all the time, right? Even just economically, each year in American, the Congress get together and they tell each other, right, we're going to deficit spend, which means that we know we're not getting this money. We're going to spend it anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to spend it anyway. So you can't imagine being a private company institution saying, yeah, we don't got the bread, but we're going to spend it. Sure, you're going to pile up debt, and there's going to be a mountain of it before you're bankrupt. Shout out Diamond. Right? It's how it works. Diamond actually is a prime example of that in our industry, right? It happens. That's what happens when you don't got the funds.
Well, that buyout just fell through, didn't it?
Yes, that was. I didn't know if we were going to talk about that day, but was it Alliance or whoever the hell pulled out?
Yeah,
which is pretty big news. So now I'm sitting here wondering. I'm looking on the back like, how much would it cost to get? I'm looking at it like, wait a minute.
It's not how much would it cost. It's what comes with it.
Yeah, the debt. That's what you're buying, right?
Exactly.
That's always the risk in this stuff. You're essentially buying the debt, right? And it's like, but yeah, shout out Yellow Flash. I see he's in the chat as well. But yeah, I think that you have to look at incentive. I bring all this up because whether it be with the BBC and in some cases some of these mega corporate entities, they have this sort of public-private kind of relationship here. It's the same idea where the incentive structure has to change in order for them to course correct. But once they recognize, especially all of the people that are like being hired in creative positions, as they recognize, like, I'm playing with house money. I could, like, whatever fantasy that they have, they can write it in a story. And there's the consequence is more so felt on the corporate entity side, not their side, right? Because they get paid regardless.
Yeah,
and that's again, it's more or less an incentive structure that is really maybe old, broken, and archaic and outdated. And I think this is why you're going to have to look to other means to get entertainment that feels like they're people, because you get a feeling from a customer standpoint, if the creators have something on the line, right? This is why a lot of these independent games that are coming out, right, as of recently, they feel like they have a lot more passion and soul in them, because they do. Right? It's usually it's a handful of guys and gals. They said, look, we're going to make something happen. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you enjoy it. And then you get a bunch of people that enjoy it and they reap the benefits from it. And oftentimes it's people picking up. It doesn't mean that you have to have a perfect game, especially in the in the independent sector, you're actually expecting that there's going to be maybe look they haven't invested $100 million into this game, right? So there's going to be some sort of shortcomings, if you will. But if people feel like you got skin in the game, they're willing to be a lot more forgiving. And it just feels like that way with a lot of independent media. Whereas this mega corporate stuff, I guess it is a passion project or there's passion in it for the people that are ideologues, because that's what they're passionate about. But it still has a way of feeling soulless, does it not?
I mean, I would dispute that they're passionate about. I would actually dispute that.
Okay.
I don't think it's passion. I think it's indoctrination. I think it's fear. I think it's signaling. I don't think it's passion. I think the majority of the people who are preaching this kind of stuff or pushing this kind of stuff, if push came to shove and you really kind of like lock them down to get them into a conversation, they wouldn't have a fucking clue what they were talking about.
Right.
It feels safe, it feels easy, and more importantly, it's what gets them money right now. In entertainment, particularly, in comics, particularly, there is such a slant. If I was, let's say, a little bit different than being a straight white male, and I pitched a story that had all of these so-called inclusive and diverse themes, it would have an exponential higher rate of being picked up than something that was more absolutely classic, that was more focused towards a family audience, regardless of their politics, that wasn't politically leaning. None of this thing. No. So that's why we seem to have all this flux, because that's where the money is.
Right.
It's say last night in Andor, apparently the way that they follow up the rape is lesbians. So literally we've gone back to the meme of Star Wars stuck a chick in it and made a layman gay. And that's Andor. Hey, Nerdrotic Raid. Thank you, Nerdrotic Raid.
Shout out.
You came in just as we're discussing rape and lesbians.
Perfect timing.
And now after a good first season, from critically a good first season of Andor, that's now all the show's going to be remembered for.
Unfortunately,
is Star Wars introducing rape? When, by the way, this is the company who couldn't abide by having Slave One as Boba Fett's ship.
That is true.
No, that's Slave One. That is bad. Mustn't have Slave One. Rape, however,
that's on the table.
Now you're talking my language. Okay,
this
is the kind of shenanigans which gets on over here. So yeah, we'll do that. And then the very next episode, space lesbians, and boom, Star Wars stuck a chick in it and made it lame and gay. Disney just going straight to form. So I think it's just safe, and it's what gets you funded. And if tomorrow what got you funded was big blockbuster explosion movies with a bunch of muscular, back into the 80s, bunch of muscular dudes being macho as fuck, and that was the huge thing, believe you me, it would go like this. They would go like that immediately, because that's where the money is. It's just right now the money's colored in fucking rainbow chocolate.
Fuck, man, and it's bad. And money, and again, going back to the incentives for you guys that may have missed the show last week. I believe it was last week and not the week before, where we went through all the, I think it was the Oscars that we were going through, all the rules that they had. Yeah, it was last week.
Might have been.
Yeah,
might have been a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
whatever. It all goes into one now.
Yeah, where we were basically going through, for you guys that don't know this stuff went in effect last year. And basically, in order for them to be eligible for these certain awards, I guess if you want to call them that, in order for you to be eligible for those, you have to check certain boxes, right? And we went through all of those. It's like, hey, you have to have a female or gay, person in this position, right? Whether it be on the screen or in this production element. And so that's really what's running the industry. And so a lot of that stuff is self-imposed, I guess, is the point that I'm bringing up. And yeah, it is a safer bet to do something like that right now, at least. And I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon.
Imagine, right, that you're now in a position where you're just like, I just made a really good fucking movie. And I'm really proud of it. The audience are loving it. It's doing so well. My peers are telling me, well done, congratulations. And then the Oscars turn around and go, yeah, sorry, you can't qualify to get an award. Can you tell me why? Yeah, your key grip doesn't eat ass
of dudes.
Yeah, but he's really good at doing his job. He's married and got 3 kids. Why does he need to eat another man's ass up? Well, you see, we don't make the rules. Actually, we do make the rules. We make the rules. And so unless that key grip is eating male ass, you ain't getting your plastic tat. Okay? No plastic tat for you.
And it's happening like that with, again, though they've tried to cover a lot of that, but a lot of the banking stuff is tied to that as well, right? In terms of the funding for the various projects. It's like you check that box. Remember, you got to force behaviors after all.
Yes, sir.
Certain funding is tied to whether or not you have a certain percentage of this type of, whatever box checking. It's all fucking stupid. But like, the point being is that how can you even make something great when you're operating within those really, really arbitrary confines?
You can't. You're handcuffing yourself.
Yes.
You're handcuffing yourself.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Just imagine, right? I've got these characters that I want to make, and these 5 people are the best people for the job, right? That they really encapsulate everything about these characters that I want them to encapsulate. And then you're told that no, you can't. Why? Because they're all white. Yeah. So, but look at them. Look how they just really kind of like Yeah. So you have to get rid of 1, 2, and then you got to get somebody in, and then you just like they're not
quite.
They're not quite getting it. You're not quite getting that. You're not. Maybe you're not bad. But you're not. Like you can't cast who you want to cast because you got to go right. We got to cast this, and we got to cast that, and that's the whole thing about bringing in weaker links, because you're no longer casting on merit. You're no longer casting who you think will legitimately be the best person for that role.
No,
you're casting on a diverse level. It's again, you're a businessman. It's like bringing somebody on board and saying, right, this is your job, regardless of their color, race, etc. This is your job, and they fuck up. And you go, okay, look, this is your job. This is okay, got it. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. And you're just like, it's the casting. This is the whole fucking casting of the Oscars. So why handcuff yourself? Why do it? It is dumb. Stupid.
It's quite literally retarded. But that's
because you restrain yourself. You don't put the best product out. And then
you're ensuring that you're guaranteeing that you can't possibly put the best project out.
Exactly.
Because all of those rules are self-imposed, and they're barriers that you have to try to, I guess, rather overcome, which again makes you usually when you talk about that type of stuff, you think of it as more of an external factor, but it's not, right? It's like these are self-imposed rules that they placed upon themselves, which they can't make the best possible product. Now, look, if you are going out there and you're trying to make the best thing possible. And yeah, you just so happen to land on a more diverse setup, then great, but that's not what's happening.
No, because we have that, and it's called a foreign film.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's called a foreign film that will have a cast of complete and utter Asians, whether it be Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, and they'll be straight into the awards because they'll class that as diverse.
Right.
Do you see Squid Game season 1?
A lot of Asians in that show. Yeah.
There's a lot of Koreans in there. There was one Indian guy or Pakistan guy in the show. The rest were just Korean. Okay? Not particularly diverse, eh?
Still Asian.
You're still still technically Asian.
Yeah.
But not particularly diverse. From let's play their game from the superficial ocular.
Right.
From the superficial ocular perspective, you're not particularly diverse, right? The show was amazing. Season 1 of Squid Game was absolutely unreal. Phenomenal show. Season 2, they ain't even got a token person in there. It's just everybody's Korean in the second one. So they don't even have that. So it's the show with one diverse casting, shall we say. This is Western terminology. In season 2 is 0. A 0. But do you hear criticism about that? Do you hear criticism of, Squid Game was just not particularly? Of course you don't. Of course you don't. Because it's a show that holds up on its own merit. It's a show that holds up on its own merit of being a very interesting story, great casting, great directing, great shots, great acting, good, great dollage, the whole shebang. And even though season 2 was not, it was a huge downgrade from season 1. It still had moments. It had really, really good moments with certain characters, particularly in the first episode with the recruiter. Phenomenal stuff. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. But in the West, that wouldn't even sniff an award. If it was based, if we switch Korean to white and whatever it is. So why handicap yourself? We have seen God knows how many movies in our lifetime. The movies that we watch go back decades upon decades, way before we were even born. Movies that were brought up in our favorite movies of all time. These movies had organic diversity, can we say, should we say? And I hate using today's terminology because it's fucking wank.
Yeah.
It's just wank.
It's bullshit.
But today, for some reason, we gotta
we move backwards, ass. That's why.
Yeah, we gotta scream it from the rooftops that we're doing this. So this shit's been going on for all fucking time.
Yeah, they're not. I guess they're attempting to reinvent the wheel, right? Because you think about all of the things that they try to parade around and praise, it was already done. And not only done, it was done like 30, 40, and 50 years in some cases, right?
Yes.
Like this is all, especially in film, right? 70s, 80s, there's nothing that they're doing now, right? For better, let's say that the 70s, 80s, and 90s didn't already accomplish. They had leads that were not white in the West. They'd already done that.
Leads that were female.
Leads that were female in the West, that they'd already done that. Right? They already did that. And then you had and this is what I remember so vividly about this era, and even going into the 2000s, right? Is that this wasn't a conversation that we were having. Because think about it.
It wasn't a conversation that was needed.
90s. Okay. You had shows that were almost exclusively white, fair skin.
Mm-hmm.
Who bitched about it? Seinfeld or what have you? Friends, Sex in the City, whatever, right? That things that people watched. Will and Grace, even, right?
Yeah.
No, it shows that all these
who
people
turned down
sitcoms.
a gay man for the role,
right,
and hired a straight man.
Straight man, yeah.
Because the gay man was told that he wasn't gay enough.
Right. And they had all these shows that people enjoyed of obviously all different races, right? That were enjoying Seinfeld, especially those like some of my family members. My grandmother watched shows that were, had almost exclusively white folk. It wasn't a problem. And then you had exclusively black shows during the same era, especially going in the 90s, right? Or predominantly.
Cosby Show.
Right? Yeah, Cosby.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince, Martin.
Different World for the most part.
Living
different
living
strokes
single
for the most part.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Again, predominantly, right? Even some spinning off from some of the other shows.
I can reel them off because these are shows I used to fucking watch religiously.
Right.
I used to doze off during the Cosby Show for some reason, though.
Yeah, but that what I'm saying is you had it. Nobody was bitching about it, right? It's like, well, Seinfeld had a bunch of white cats, and who was crying about that? They were like, okay, so what? Living Single had a bunch of. It wasn't hardly any white people in that show. Who cares? Who cares? It wasn't a conversation. It's like, is it solid? Can I appreciate it? Do I get entertainment out of it? Is it enjoyable? That was the only conversation that we were having.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't an issue at all. It was never a problem.
When you don't have any originality, when you don't have any new ideas, you have to look at different ways to gaslight your audience that you're doing something different.
Yeah.
Look what we're doing now. We are raising up the black man who's never been in a film before. Sorry, what?
Yeah,
black people. They
never been
invented
never
in
been
2016.
leads.
Yeah. And since 2016, they've never been cast in a film. So we are elevating this brand new race on planet Earth, and we have found a new gender. They are called female. They too have never been on the screen before. We will elevate them too. And you got just regular normal people just be like,
what? I know anybody that was alive had to be like, what? And you wonder, it's like, is this like, okay, a first world problem type of thing? Like these people, right? Doing what I mean by these people, I'm meaning folks that are now into a kind of his adulthood, right? During today's day and age. So they didn't really have to experience anything, right? Everything was already set up for them. And they had to invent a struggle. I think this is why these definitely all these young race hustlers, right? They didn't have to go through shit. Like they didn't live through, like my grandmother, doing those days in like the South, right? In the fucking 30s and shit. Like, no, they didn't have to experience that civil rights era. They had to experience it. So they had to go through shit. So they're inventing problems essentially, like, because they don't have anything that they can gravitate towards. This is why I think you saw all these young people, especially during the Summer of Love, right? And St. George Floyd and everything that happened.
For our sins.
Right. That happened. And they felt like they were doing something by marching. Right. This was their civil rights moment because they ain't never really go through shit. All the problems were already solved.
When you solve, it's like it's the whole meme of government, isn't it?
No, that's for sure.
A government's there not to solve problems.
Yeah.
Because if a government solves problems, there's no need for government.
Right. They would cease to exist. Correct.
Exactly.
That's exactly what's happened. So they have to invent the problem. They have to not only invent it, they have to perpetuate it. And anybody
go on, you go.
No, but anybody, I was just gonna say, like, anybody that's not crazy has to see this, right? Like, wait a minute, am I living in the fucking Twilight Zone? Did my experience growing up in the 90s, did that? Oh, Jesus Christ. Whatever you do, don't look that up for the love of God. Anybody in the chat that's like,
no, you should do your research.
Don't fucking
do your research.
Take my word on this. Don't fucking do it.
Do your research.
Don't do it. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I guess to not have that awareness is quite interesting. Because we did, I think, definitely on the subject of race, like just moved completely the opposite way, the opposite end, and a lot of that stuff started.
They have, we haven't.
Well, yeah, true. Yeah,
that's just it though. It's not the world that has. It's these fucking weirdos that have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So all the people that, like we say, I'm 50 years old. I've gone through uni. You know, I've had friends from all different fucking races. I've had straight friends. I've had gay friends. You know, friends. Some friends come and go, but you know, you seem to have your core friends throughout time. That's just life. That's how it is. You come across. So when whoever I come across, whether it be a black person, gay person, fucking woman, blah blah blah, whatever. There's no difference with me the way that I talk to them, the way that I treat them. I just base them on who they are as a fucking person, right? Yeah. And if they're a good person, cool. And if they're a fucking bellend, then fuck off. You know?
And it don't matter what fucking race.
And I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I'm not here with a fucking list to tick.
Right.
You know, I'm not here to go, okay, well, they can be my new gay friend. And this can be my new black friend. No, we don't need to do those stupid fucking lists. But we're dealing with people that do. And I love the fact that because we get told, oh, everything's about their own fucking trauma. Trauma is such a fucking buzzword right now. Oh, my trauma. I woke up today, right? I was out of coffee. Oh, my God. Trauma response, right? And you said struggle. It's like, it's my trauma. It's my struggle. And I'm just like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for one of these progressives to say, my struggle.
Go for it. And
write a book too. Yeah, you should write a book.
Yeah.
You should write a book. You think so? Oh, yes. And that is what you should call it. That is. Yeah. So we've gone from my struggle. Yeah, we've gone from my struggle to my truth.
That's good. That's pretty good.
Okay. So we are not. I mean, we can joke about it, but we are not that many degrees of separation from how close those fucking things actually exist with one another.
Oh, they're. If you want to get down really to the nitty gritty,
but yeah, because we don't need to play that game. They need to play that game,
right?
So we're getting on with our lives as fucking normal
people. Yeah,
their businesses are crashing. You know, the movies crashing, the TV shows
companies
are crashing, and they're like, I guess you're just all racists. Sure,
whatever, doesn't mean anything anymore.
Whatever, yeah. It's you might as well just say, you know, you're all blah blah blah. Yeah. It's a meaningless word, meaningless
doesn't mean
phrase.
Anything.
You're all racist. Now I'm going to go back to my box ticking.
Yeah, exactly. Have a little bit of self-awareness. But yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. And the fact that there's still, even though it does seem to be like a lot of normie response, the market's adjusting, right? And people are even there saying like, fuck, man, maybe this stuff is stupid. You know, maybe all the box, why does there have to be a gay person in every goddamn show when they only represent a fucking tiny portion of the population?
And this is how they introduce them as well, Eric. Hi, I'm David. I'm gay.
yeah.
I like it up the bum. Okay, well, thank you, David. But really, we've got to grapple up to this fucking thing and then smash through the window and save the president's daughter. No problem. I'm just going to call my boyfriend because I'm gay, and I'm just going to tell him that I'm going to be late for dinner tonight, okay? Hi, Richard, who's a man, and my boyfriend, because I'm gay. I'm just going to be a little late because of work. Okay, I love you because we're gay. That's the subtlety.
Yeah, it is.
They have to fucking project and all fucking. That was fucking characters in Doctor Who. That was Bill in fucking Doctor Who in Capaldi's final season. She literally just would go in and be like, so anyway, my girlfriend, because I'm gay, and then she'd just walk past a woman and go, wow, she's fit because, but if you wear this, I just happen to be a lesbian. And it's just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're there going, yes, we're hitting our quota. Yes. Look at this.
And you know, when they wrote that in,
hey,
they were
gays,
like,
do you feel seen? Gays, do you feel seen? Like, probably 99% of the gay people are just like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, they're like, oh, give me a break,
is not,
man.
This is not what we're like. We promise. We are so fucking
because you know
sorry.
they like when they wrote that into the script. I mean, I know they did a little fist pump and everything. They were like, "Yes, that's the line right there, right?"
The two straight people went,
Yeah,
"Yes,
right.
yes."
They're like, "No, man, look, guys, we did it. We did it." They're gonna feel seen.
Yeah.
They're gonna feel just so stoked about seeing themselves through this corny character that we just slapped in there solely to check the Oscar box so we can be eligible for the best picture or whatever the fuck.
Here, have a bigot sandwich.
Yeah, fuck, dude. It's so bad, but I think there were people that, not us as, but I think there were people that were still holding out that, especially with mainstream, they would end up adjusting at some point, right? All your beloved IPs that they own, they'll correct itself. I mean, look, this is a rocky road. I don't know. Maybe you see it wrong. I don't want to speak on your behalf. I personally haven't seen anything that suggests that they're going to be changing. I've seen outliers, but when have those not existed? And even then, it's not like they ever learn from it. Like when they do something, it doesn't seem like good. It almost feels like they did it by accident.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
like they like, oh, they got there. Oh, people are like that. That wasn't even an intention, but okay. Here's the second installment. We're gonna make sure we really fuck this up.
Even a broken clock is right twice.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an outlier. It's an outlier. I don't get the feeling that they're gonna change, especially not with Hollywood. But I mean, I think this is gonna apply to like AAA studios, if for whatever that means to you. I don't know.
It's what AAA means to me now is a company with a lot of money to waste.
That's not a bad definition. Actually, it's one of the better ones that I've heard people to define AAA.
Well, look at what Naughty Dog is following The Last of Us with. You know,
good point. Last of Us 2, dud. I mean, again, we know it's the dud because the event, the people that watch the show don't like it either, right? So, it does seem that there's a common theme. But yeah, they gave us a bald head chick in a Michael Jackson's Thriller jacket, and yeah,
sucking a milkshake or whatever it was, being
yeah, and Adidas.
Oh my gosh, she's
ads
so
all over the fucking place in Adidas, or whatever. So
with a
I guess that's what people want.
A Calvin Klein underwear on, you know.
Yeah,
made by a transvestite in Botswana.
So yeah, good point. You make the point perfectly for me, because does that sound like someone that learned from anything?
Yeah,
don't sound like shit to me. It sounds like there's a person that says, "Oh, it didn't work. Shit, let's do it even harder."
Smash them over again. In Naughty Dog's case, let's smash them in the head again with the golf club.
With the golf club, yes. Why don't we do that again? Give it another shot.
If I had a soundboard, here,
I think, and look, I think that they believe that they're smarter than everybody, and there's a little bit of arrogance about them.
They're better, not smarter, because that's a given. They're better.
Yeah.
They're more morally superior to everybody.
Yeah, that's what they believe for sure. 1,000%. That's exactly what they believe. So yeah, it wouldn't, when you look at it from that perspective, and if they are led solely by their ideology, I don't know. Chat, maybe you correct me if I'm wrong, man. I just don't. I don't see it ever happening, at least in our lifetimes, that these mega corporations actually course correct. I see outliers. There's movies that people will enjoy. I think there's games that are produced by the mainstream that people will find okay. But I think on the average, them taking like the market demand and utilizing that as their beacon, like that's what they're trying to aim at, that's what they're trying to target. And it doesn't mean that you're always going to make a good film or a good movie or a good comic or a good video game, but an attempt was made, right? For me, I think the attempts now are just more like, okay, so it's how can I impress my peers? And then there's and you can have that mean whatever you want it to mean, because sometimes it's more on the political side, maybe it's more on the just accessibility side, maybe it's more on the with sexuality and some of that, the culture stuff. Either way, the target audience isn't you, is the point that I'm making.
No.
There are folks that vehemently disagree with me on that because they think that there's no way they can keep up at this trajectory. I mean, that's a lack of a better term. Maybe it's they're going the opposite way. But nobody, like, they
you
believe
can
that
fly
some has
into
to
the
give.
sun, Eric. You can fly into the sun.
Good boy. You get that's what I believe. I don't believe that they're going to course correct. Some people do.
No. No, there's certain companies which will go down. I've stressed before, and I stressed there are some companies which will try and make a change, but there's a lot of companies that won't, and a lot of companies that have money will be the least to bend because they'll have the resources to try again. Disney will go down with the ship because it's infested. It's
leadership.
Cancer. It's just cancer from top down.
Yeah.
So every position, doesn't matter with Kathleen Kennedy going or the CEO standing down, it's irrelevant because they have another piece of cancer to take their place. We know about their not so secret agendas. They've admitted to them. They got leaked.
Flat out said it.
And the reason why they've got leaked is because there are actually good people at the company who just want to make fun stuff for families. Because Disney's a family company who's pushing family-friendly ideology. Well, used to be.
Yeah, it used to be. Yeah,
that's. But you can go on a trajectory straight into the fucking sun.
Yeah, I guess that is your trajectory. It's not upward.
Yeah, and that's where it's going. Naughty Dog. I think Cuckman is an exceedingly arrogant, self-absorbed, narcissistical, vain, self-centered person. I wouldn't call him a man. I wouldn't. Don't worry. I wouldn't do that, Neil. And I am absolutely not in the least bit surprised by what I saw from Naughty Dog coming next from Naughty Dog. So this heretic, whatever it is, the intergalactic The Intergalactic Pet Shop Boys is absolutely on par with what I would expect from Naughty Dog. And remember, the leaks from The Last of Us Part 2 came from Naughty Dog. People at the company who were sick of working on this fucking terrible story, this nihilistic crap. And so, yeah, perfect. So Naughty Dog, I'm actually very excited for the future. Because I don't see good things. Same with BioWare's gone. That's done. EA made layoffs yesterday.
I did. It was 1,100 people, something crazy, or whatever it was. But yeah, it was quite a bit of people that are.
So if you're at BioWare,
Titanfall not happening.
Oh, the new Titanfall game done. One of the Star Wars games they're working on done over. 1,000 odd people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Yeah, that's a significant part of your workforce.
So BioWare, look for jobs. No, and I'm not being facetious. If you're at BioWare, you need to be looking for a job because you're going to get shut down. It might not be next week. It might not be next month. It might be next year. It might not even be next year. But you're getting shut down within the foreseeable future, within the next few years. You're gone. Mass Effect 5, 4, 5, whichever one you want to call it, it ain't happening. If they're cutting Titanfall, if they're cutting a Star Wars game, after Dragon Age the Veilguard, can they even run the risk on Mass Effect 4 that ain't going to be even ready until 2030, 2031, 2032? Nah.
Pre-production?
You're gone. Pre-production.
Yeah, then that's going to take... That's gonna take a minute. Yeah, they don't have anything. They might be cooked. Ubisoft, Tencent, shout out to the Chinese. Well, they took all the properties too.
Yeah, they took the big three. Yeah,
they took the main ones, right? So yeah, we'll see what happens with them. Yeah, it is. Some of these guys are gonna go. I mean, so yeah, to your point, to the point that Az is saying, like, what have they shown you? Because if anything, those companies for sure would have course corrected if they, well, I guess if this was a sensible place. And if it was a place where people learn from their mistakes. But but yeah, I just don't get the feeling. Some other people do. Some other people are like, oh, we're over this hump, and I'm like, I don't see it. I just don't see it. I get
we're
being
not over the
exhausted by
hump.
it.
We're consuming stuff. We're buying stuff from other countries, and there's a difference. There's a big difference between the two. We're like, oh, well, this game from Korea was great, or this independent game was great. I'm currently playing Expedition 33. I'll be playing it after this stream. I'll be firing up a stream. I'll just get something to eat, something to drink, and I'll be firing up another Expedition 33 stream. That is 30. That game is made by 30 predominantly former Ubisoft employees on a budget of 5 to 10 million. And I'm not even shitting you. I don't know if you've seen the game, but it looks like as good as any AAA game.
I made this point yesterday that it's I think definitely as far as how it looks, I don't think you can call something AAA based upon it anymore because everybody's catching up.
Oh, big time. I mean, what they've done with the technology and the animations
engines, man,
and
crazy,
the facial expressions on the characters are phenomenal. They got some great voice acting talent including Charlie Cox to do voice acting. The script is fucking brilliant. It's such a good script. The characters are very well written, and currently the main characters that I got is one dude and two women, right? One dude, two women, and I'm invested in them because they're interesting characters. I don't care that the women, it's just like, oh my god, women, oh my god. No, I don't care. It's you make me interesting characters, and I'm there, and it doesn't matter where they come from, the female, black, fucking brown, Asian. I don't fucking give a shit. When you start to make a compelling story, which draws you in, the gameplay is excellent. Like I said, the story seems to be really going places and exciting and sort of you're questioning where it is. The characters are really relatable and empathetic, so you're supporting them, you're behind them, and you're like 30 people and 5 to 10 million, and it's another company that is embarrassing the fucking AAA developing companies
with nowhere near the funds.
Embarrassing them.
Nowhere near the funds either. Just nothing close.
Not close.
A fraction of because what I mean, what are we putting the budget at? Something like take something. I get it. Different game. Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
What was that budget?
It was 300 million.
That's so much, but it hurts to hear something like a number that big. And we never got an update after
250. It's approximately 250. 250 million. So it's
like a fraction. I'm not gonna try to do the math of that. You can
50 times.
Yeah.
50 times more than 5 mil, or 25 times more than if it cost 10 mil.
Yeah.
So let's just be really generous, Eric, because you and me, we're fucking very generous kinds of guys around here.
The most generous.
The most generous of generous. Some might say the most generous of all time. So let's just say Expedition 33 cost the full $10 million. Okay? And let's just say that this low end, this 250, which is most likely low end, this 250 is also legitimate. 25 times.
Yeah, it's a lot. But guess what? Like, you play both of them. Does one feel like does obviously with way more people working on it, right? Mm-hmm. I forget the credits, but we know those.
We saw the picture of them crackers.
Yeah. Lots of people worked on the game. Okay. Does it feel like they spent 25 to 50 times more after playing both games?
I'm not even joking. If you put both games together and you said to me which game cost 250 million and which game cost 5 to 10 million, because games like Assassin's Creed are so rinse and repeat in their content, it's literally go to this location, do this, go to another location, do the identical thing that you did in that previous location. And I would be sort of using that kind of logic, being like, well, this one's just a bunch of rinse and repeat same content over and over again. So even though it looks like it's got a big scope, big open world map, some nice kind of maybe FMV sequences, regardless of what you think of the story, you would be like, it's this one. This one costs 5 to 10, and Expedition 33, because of all of these, the sort of stylized look of it, the great voice acting, that's probably that's the 250. And then they'd be like, no.
Prime example, right? Prime example of everything that we've been talking about on today's show. It's a prime example. It's like you got your, I mean, we're not seeing it. Nobody's seeing, okay, where is the 50 times more bread being spent on? And sure, I'm pretty sure some guys got some money off the top. They probably didn't do shit. It often happens when you have big mega corporations, right? But still, $250 million is a lot. And, you'd imagine that a $250 million game, right, in terms of production costs, would look like a $250 million or feel like, more and more importantly, as far as its gameplay, like a $250 million game. But you have one that, someone tells you like, oh, they may have spent $5 million on this new game that was built by 30 people. You'd be like, there's no way.
No.
There's no fucking way they spent just that on that game. There's no way. So bloat is a problem for sure. But as we talked about earlier in the show, I just think that because they're so infested, they don't care. It's not about trying to appeal to, I don't know, people that actually want this shit. It's about appealing to you. It's all about their peers, man. These guys do this again from the award shows on up and down. These people do shit to impress each other, which is it's so stupid. But that's how they operate. They do shit to impress their peers. They do things to impress the folks that are next to them, or maybe there's a fellow ideologues. That's who they're making these games for. That's who they make the movies for. That's who they're doing things for, right? It's not for you as the buyer. I don't even know if they even take that shit into consideration as they're doing things. Outside of maybe contractually having to, shout out Rachel Zegler, like maybe contractually telling them to don't say nothing fucking stupid. But outside of that, like, who are they doing this for? They're doing it.
When it's not the customer.
Well, that's bingo. Someone said in the chat, the journalist. Yes. Like, again, I look at the peers, right? That's access. It's the same thing. It's like maybe they're doing things, and we've talked about that, especially in the comic books sort of realm, where people are doing things to get that headline, right? It felt like you had a lot of that in comics, especially in the mid 2010s. Like, it's being a shock jock, right? Where they're throwing all this dumb shit at it just to get that headline of so and so first gave this or so and so did that, and it's just, here we are.
That's Assassin's Creed Steam records, okay? That's its Steam records, yeah.
Wow. And then aren't they both on Game Pass?
Yes.
Okay, so that argument, I want everybody to stop using.
Remember, Assassin's Creed wasn't on Game Pass when it launched.
But it was on a streaming platform.
It was on the Ubisoft streaming platform.
Right.
Now, I believe it's been put on Game Pass a few weeks later, but it didn't release on Game Pass.
Right. But what I'm saying
is...
Yeah. And what I'm saying is people unfortunately use that all the time when trying to assess this, that's the reason why particularly with Steam numbers, that's the reason why they show that the way that they do. And like, I've never believed that argument, but it's one that they always throw out there. So when I always wonder, like, okay, when you have another game that also is on a streaming, let's say, platform, so maybe they're not gravitating towards that particular thing, why is it like double of what Assassin's Creed did? I can't make sense of that.
I can. One's a good game and one isn't. And I'm not even being stupid.
Come on, man. 3 million players, though, ass.
This is the fucking thing which these Ubisofts, they all and EAs, they just don't even fucking compute. How about we make a good game? It's a good game isn't necessarily a game that has a huge world to explore if the content is exactly the same in each of the areas. Yeah, that becomes a very boring game. Very
one. It isn't like having hyper real. No, a good game is there's other metrics to look at.
Are your characters compelling? Is your story compelling? The Assassin, I was making bank with the 2 Assassin's Creed Shadow streams that I did. I was making bank, chat. Thank you very much indeed. Daddy has needed that money to pay his bills, the internet bill, the electricity bill. I could have carried on making bank. I couldn't even fucking carry on after 2 streams. I was so bored. So bored. I'm like, guys, we got to play something. We've got to play something fun. We got to play something fun. I think, and then we've been very lucky in the last couple of months or so. We've had Atomfall, which I thought was a great little game. We had Blueprints, which was just phenomenal. Again, not a huge budget game. You know, very small game, just a very compelling gameplay loop. Nice, lots of stuff to use your fucking cerebellum. All of it. And then now, Expedition 33, 30 people, 5 to 10 million. Schedule 1, great bit of fun. This is the problem that these AAA companies are going to come up against. They're going to come up against these independent companies that can make
a game
with limited resources, with fucking fun gameplay loops. And that is what gamers are going to gravitate towards. I don't need to play Assassin's Creed 59. I don't need it, and I don't give a shit. I don't need to play COD 5000.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
2 seconds. Do you
think? But I think that it's going to be interesting to see. I know I say that quite a bit with regards to fucking gaming, right? But gaming, much like what comics has, though gaming seems to, mainly because of, I guess, how they're built, you have these engines, and I'm not using accessible like gaming industries often use them. I'm using accessible in the means of like trying to make like the means have been far more affordable and they've been more decentralized, right? So because of that, you have now people that are capable of making games with these various engines, Unreal or whatever. They're able to do things that they couldn't do in the past, that at least at minimum looks and maybe even functions like the big dogs. And they're starting to spend more and more money on all of their stuff, right? Because of the corporate setup. It's just a lot of bloat. You have to make sure your catering guys are getting $100,000, and you got to make sure the catering guys also have catering as well.
And then you got to make sure that you're a catering guy as well as a producer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no,
you get another $100,000 on top of you.
Exactly right. So there's a lot of that type of shit that goes on with these corporations. And yeah, the smaller companies don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Or the more independent guys, they're not going to have to do that. So I do think that, and I wouldn't have maybe said this like immediately, but I am of the opinion that I think with gaming, that's the entertainment industry that I believe, if there is to be a creative renaissance, it's going to start with that. And maybe it does trickle down in the other industries. But if there's like a fundamental, like creative, like just renaissance where everything, the status quo is just completely upended, everything's adjusted, everything changes, I think is going to come with gaming. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know where the corporation, the mega corporations fit in a world where 30 guys can make something that's competitive.
Yeah, gamers are the marketplace where if you think you can fuck around with them, you're going to find out.
That's for sure.
Because they'll make you find out very, very fucking quickly. We're all veterans of Modern Warfare 2 lobbies here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we grew up on fucking Risen, you know, ripping the fucking shit out of people. We've grown up on fucking all kinds of fucking shit said to us online and stuff like that, right? So when you get some fucking complete and out of touch corporate entity going, our games company is here to be inclusive for everyone, we're just like, right, we're gonna fuck with your shit. We are, sir. We are gonna fuck with your shit. You know, you try and put some safe spaces into. Fuck out of here. And then you'll get a guy that goes, "Hey, I've got a game about dealing drugs. Do you want to play it? Fuck yeah, let's go." Does it
one
look,
guy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
One dude.
Yeah.
One fucking dude is like, I'll make this goofy ass game and make bank.
Yeah.
And it's crazy and it works. And I love that spirit. I love that independence. And I'm really, really hyped up for the future with a game like this Expedition and some of the others that are coming out. It's like, man, these guys are making things that, yeah, it seems to be able to compete with the mainstream, and they're doing it for a fraction of the cost. That's the most important
making
thing.
Good money,
good content,
which is going to allow them to make more,
and make it even more ambitious. So it's like when you're going against that, this is the benefit that the mega corporations have. And that's they at least have access to IPs, right? That people have known and loved that are at least in some capacity proven. Sure, they may have damaged them, but they still have them nonetheless. To what advantage that they have, right? But how that maybe that only gets you so far, because I've been making this argument for a while that we need that, right? Like there seems to be less of the new stuff that comes out in really any industry. In comparison to decades in the past, right? Where there was always something new happening, right? In the 70s, you get Star Wars, you get 80s, you get, this film, you get this film, or you get this type of even genre that gets created. We haven't done that in a long time. And this is why they keep trying to having to rehash things. But through the independence in the gaming and what we're seeing, folks are able to come up with original IPs as well, right? And do some really cool things, man. And I am intrigued, to say the least. How does this look 5-10 years from now? And, do they even have a place? Like, what is the place for the mega corporation? That again, they do have, to their credit, a brand that is undeniable.
Yeah, but it's tainted now.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
People will purchase the brand to a certain thing. So instead of, let's say, Spider-Man films becoming the huge thing, people just be like buying Spider-Man toys. They'll be buying the toys, they'll be buying the lunch boxes, the shoes, or whatever. But when it comes to maybe the video game space or the movie space or TV space, people just don't care anymore. Just using that as an example, as a potential example. That's how it kind of works, and that erodes the brand of it, because a lot of the characters that we'll be talking about, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Avengers, X-Men, blah, 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 their roots comics. And comics mainstream is fucking on life support. So what's the world look like when the life support, the root of that tree is ripped out? What's it look like then? Because no new stories are being created. So what do we get? We get what we've got now. We get fucking people who come in with their vision of what they think it should be. And invariably, it's just a load of fucking crap.
Yeah.
And then we get things like people coming out of Thunderbolt screenings, paid chills, all saying the identical fucking phrases. Oh, it's so good that this film deals with mental health. This is a movie that deals with mental health. oh, it's about time that a movie from Marvel dealt with mental health. Mental health. You're fucking mental. You're fucking mental. And by the time I finish, I guarantee you, I'm off to see it tomorrow, and I guarantee you, I come out and my
if you
mental health
wouldn't have
will be
said that, I
affected.
wouldn't have known this damn thing was coming out, man. If you hadn't said that.
The 1st, it comes out on the 1st.
Holy shit!
Because preview day. And you're just like, what fucking promotion is that? Do you want to see a Marvel superhero film about mental health? No, because I'm not a terminally online cunt like you. Looks like it because I do a lot of work online, but you know, a lot of us actually do go outside, touch grass, have relationships, you know,
lift a weight or two, or something.
But we're dealing with these fucking just like fucking get up, chug down their antidepressants, come onto the PC, live on fucking X all day, going, Marvel are the greatest. Why are you such a fucking bigot, racist scum? Let's burn down a Tesla. I hate Trump. I am an ally of the LGBTQI. Blah, blah. They do that all fucking day, 8 hours, don't get any vitamin D, don't get any fucking sunlight, don't get any fucking interaction, proper social interaction. Just fucking type it away to people that say the same thing. Finish, don't shower, stink. And then they just go straight to bed on their fucking filthy bed, which hasn't had the sheets changed for months on end. And then they come out and rinse and repeat. And those are the people who are on the internet calling you and me fucking bigots and homophobes and racists and sexists.
All the stuffs, yeah. And this is why it's hard for me to feel like once I, even in my own like personal life, was able to be like, you know what, I do not need this shit. Sure, I've invested so much money into it, and it's not like it's going away. Long boxes aren't going away. The old games I have aren't going away. The old books, everything that I have is not going away. I still have those, and I still have those memories. But I'm not so tied to it to where I feel like I have to get the latest just because it's being produced and it has that logo, it has that brand on it, right? Once I accepted that, I even personally was just far more interested and intrigued by even stuff that's not coming from the mega corporations. And it is easier than has been in the past to embrace something like that because you have, like the game we were just talking about, it's a lot more competitive and presentable, digestible than it ever has been right in modern history. And that's because, again, the means got decentralized. So I think that's probably the most positive thing to come out of this whole situation, is that more people are seeing that there's other shit out there. Right. And it's not so bad. Like, yeah, sure, you might not be getting the latest fucking COD or whatever. Right. Like, yeah, I couldn't tell you the last one I had. I was probably playing on a stream the last one I had. But it's not like I feel some kind of way about it. Like, I'm not like, oh shit, man. Like, I gotta get. I'm like, whatever, man. Like, there's other stuff for me to do. And more, I think more and more people are starting to feel that way because the quality of material that's being produced out there is getting increasingly better. And this is why a developer can produce something for $5 million that competes with someone or a mega corporation that has spent 250.
Thing is, right, Wukong, right, phenomenal game, $50-60 million budget, sold to the moon. We're probably not going to get a sequel to Wukong because there was no need for a sequel. It told a very specific story. But that company could now work on something new and different. Expedition 33 looks like it's going to be a self-contained story, right? So again, it doesn't necessarily mean that Expedition 33 becomes a franchise now. But that company has made good money from that. And then they could go, do you know what? We've had another idea about something else. And then they create something else which is original. Things like Stellar Blade, for example, we could definitely get a Stellar Blade 2. But then we get, that's a new IP that's come into the fray.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to have the next Assassin's Creed. We don't have to have the next whatever it is, Tomb Raider. We don't have to have the next shit because you've already made the good ones. The good ones, for all intents and purposes, have already been done. They've already been made. So we don't have to get the next one purely because it's got your IP.
Oh, yeah.
If IP come and IP goes, it's throughout the course of time. What was massive, how many ever decades ago, is meaningless now. You know, Buck Rogers, huge back in the serial series, 20s, 30s, 40s. Now, nobody really talks about Buck Rogers. Resurgence in the 70s, but so they come and they go. So there's nothing that says we owe your IP a loyalty, a fealty, a loyalty. No. So if another company wants to come along with either an original game that they can then go and create another original game, or if another company comes along and creates an IP that they go, yeah, we want this to be a new IP and we want sequels to this game and we have ideas about where the stories are going to go, and it's actually good, then people are just like, okay,
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, let's bring it on. Let's bring it on. But there is such a reliance from these AAA games. Keep brand alive. And
well, it's not, and in doing so, it's not like they're trying to honor it either. Like, I think this conversation is a different one if they were doing things that felt true to whatever those brands or whatever made those brands great. It's just that what they've shown is that they're incapable of doing it. They can't. Like, they literally do not have the faculties to do it. They can't. They can't do it. It doesn't. Maybe it's their corporate structure doesn't allow them. Of course, maybe it's the people that work for the companies. That's also part of it. But they just cannot do it. They cannot honor that in such a way, because I think we've talked about it on the show before, right? Like, there has been bad versions, or let's say, I don't want to say bad, unfavorable versions of things that we have loved in the past, but we didn't talk about it the way that we did today, right? Oh, there's a Batman that comes out and like, yeah, people are talking about it and they're discussing. But it wasn't like, well, we felt that they were trying to shit on the fans of Batman like that. It wasn't like that. It didn't feel that way, like it was done out of spite. It's like, yeah, they might make a bad movie, right?
Yeah, but the third act is that he went up against YouTubers.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened at the end of She-Hulk? They went up against YouTubers.
Right. It's spite. It's like they're not.
What is this rumor about Superman?
Oh, fucking hell.
This is a good transition.
I hope that isn't true, man.
No, right. I got a whole bit here for this, Eric, because there is no way that this could be true.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time believing, and maybe I am coping.
James,
maybe so.
I am coming to your defense here, James. I'm coming to your defense. Now, you might not like some of the things I'm going to have to say, but I'm coming to your defense. James Gunn, sir, James Gunn, I'm here to protect you. And that's for protect with a capital K, right? Because there is absolutely no way that this could be true. So first of all, Eric, let's address the rumor. And then I'm going to debunk why this rumor is absolute trash and cannot in any capacity be true.
Okay.
And I will prove that with facts and logic.
Okay.
So here's the rumor. The rumor is Superman, who appears on Earth saving people, gets frustrated or gets disillusioned because there is a social media backlash against him. Okay? With hashtag super shit being mentioned. And it's Lex Luthor using hundreds of mutant monkeys in an interdimensional world, furiously typing keyboards, flooding social media with hate against Superman.
I just can't believe that, man. I'm sorry.
This has got to be trash. This has got to be trash. Because I'm going to prove it. Because some people are saying, well, James Gunn has a vendetta against being cancelled. Okay, he's got a vendetta about being cancelled, and so this is his way of getting back. He had incel army in Creature Commandos, even though incel wasn't a thing back then. There wasn't a terminology, and he had brother incel or whatever it was, and that was him owning the chuds. Owning the chuds, and this is another one. This is him angry that he got cancelled. He has a vendetta against the internet for being cancelled, and this is his sort of therapy. You know, this is him getting out. Fuck you. Superman has a hate campaign against him, but he rises above it, and you know, Superman comes out on top. Fuck you, Lex Luthor. You get cucked by Jimmy Olsen. So here's the proof that this is absolute bullshit. The proof is James Gunn's tweets. You see, James, there's nobody who could have a vendetta against the internet for cancelling them based on the pedo shit which you said. Because clearly the fucking pedo shit that you said is absolutely fucking off the fucking rails, that you'd be like, you know, you can't have a vendetta. You'd be like, yeah, you know, this is fucking disgusting. This is disgusting, vile shit. And yeah, I'm sad that it's come to light now. Maybe I've changed since then, and I'm sad that it's come to light now. But yeah, I absolutely understand people's disgust with me talking about, I love it when little boys touch me in my silly place. Yeah? I love it when I post things like video, 100 pubescent girls touch themselves, link.
Yeah, I don't see how that could ever be.
Yeah, I love, you know, I totally agree. I just made a joke about Batty graping my friend while she was asleep. You see, you can't, saying things like that, you can't have a vendetta against the internet because they're abhorrent. You know, they are fucking dumb shit. So you can't have a vendetta. You'd be like, yeah, I said some fucking disgusting stuff and left it out there for all to see. And this is just a fraction of the things, you know. We got monkeys doing things to themselves on children. I don't think a normal sane person, you know, there's edgelord, and then there's kind of like, you know, so you can't have a vendetta about this coming out because you posted it. You can't have a vendetta against it. So there's no way that he could have a vendetta, a spiteful vendetta about being cancelled when he actually did this stuff.
Okay, so that makes sense. Nice save. It's no way. So there's no projection basically involved in this. Monkeys.
See, he's apologizing here. He's
apologizing for it. Monkeys type. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I can't see that being true. And like I said, if the chat thinks maybe it's a cult, but
no, you see, Eric, because if it's true, then that means that James can't, in any capacity, be sorry for the stuff that he posted that he claims to have been sorry about.
That's a conversation.
That's the fucking point, isn't it, James? That's the point. Because if he was sorry, like he's posted here in the past, I have apologized for humor of mine that hurt people. I truly felt sorry, and I meant every word of my apologies. If you post something like that, it means that you're fully owning up to what you did. So you can't have a vendetta against the internet, Eric, because that would mean you weren't sorry in the first place, and you stand by the stuff that you posted, like, I like it when little boys touch me in my silly place. Shush.
Yeah, that's
I'm doing a big Hollywood film adaptation of The Giving Tree with a happy ending. the tree grows back and gives the kid a BJ.
Yeah, it's well, it's not even edgelord stuff because it was a repeat thing. Now look, on that note, I've been one to say that, and it was unpopular at the time for some reason, because believe it or not, like people just kind of put the stuff that you just showed in the back of their mind like it never happened, or kind of maybe it's compartmentalizing it. But I hated the hiring. I don't think it's positively about a lot of the stuff that I've seen from James Gunn in superhero realm, like you guys do. By you guys, I don't mean to chat. I'm just saying that a lot of people that push back on that.
I mean, Eric, I will say, just before we carry on, that he was a young man when he wrote these. He was 42 years old.
I was just about to say, like
he was 42 years old and older. 40, yeah. So just a young man when he put those.
Just a young man.
Yeah, kids.
But seriously, it's hard to even all that said. It is just hard to believe that you're trying to because you would think that DC is sitting pretty right now, like because Marvel has their kind of thing going on right now where people they're not just producing slam dunks anymore. So it puts their direct competition in a nice position. That's what makes this so difficult to even believe is even possible that you would set yourself up for failure, because we agreed. We talked about on this show. Can't remember what episode. You had to go back in the vault and check. But we all agreed that the tone had to be set with this movie for this new universe. And if they didn't get off to a fantastic start, it's cooked.
Yeah.
All that said,
bearing in mind they have no Batman.
Right.
They have no Batman. So Supergirl is being filmed as we speak.
Well, that was the point that we were making at the time. It was like they have a lot riding on it, whether they know it or not. And it seems that they're just gonna, if this is true, which again, it's so hard to believe that will be the plot line that they run with a bunch of fucking mutant monkeys typing shit about Superman.
Forget the mutant monkeys. That could be an exaggeration.
Specific mutant monkeys.
I'm just saying, even if
I know, try to give it a benefit of the doubt. I got you.
I know. I mean,
I got you.
That in itself.
Oh yeah, you're treading territory right there.
I don't want to be disingenuous. I don't want to be disingenuous and read other things into that, because there is the whole typing monkey meme,
Yeah.
But even if we put that to one side, a social media campaign again, it's like,
it's boring. Fall asleep in a chair type of shit, like
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like I said, man. I hope that's not true, man. I really do. Not even for myself, because it's not like one way or the other. Like I'm gonna be fucking doing anything. All I'm saying is, I know that there are a lot of y'all out there that had some high hopes for it, and your disappointment is going to be at an all-time high if that's the plot line that they're running with, and that is mutant monkeys sending Superman into a tough spot emotionally because they were using hashtags on the internet. That would be pretty rough. Because that tells me you had no ideas. You didn't know what you. On the other hand,
look. Superman is an eternal hero, right?
Yeah.
Spanning 8 decades, 9 decades, nearly 10 decades. Nearly 100 years, 85 plus years now. Yeah, 85 plus years of Superman now. Hope, inspiration, these are timeless themes. If you want to ground it, if you want to push it into modern day social media, you ain't got shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't have no ideas.
None.
He had no idea if that was how this if that's what this plot line is. And someone said in the chat that Chris Gore confirmed it. like I said, man.
No, chat, you're missing what I'm saying. I'm saying it can't be true, because if it is, then those apologies, which James Gunn said about the stuff he said, can't mean shit. Because you can't have a vendetta against something when you've apologized for the stuff that you did, if you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. That's got to be rough, man. Like that's gonna be rough for a lot of people to digest if that's his approach. And then I will have been correct on he was not the guy for that position, which that remains my position.
See, now you're getting it. Now
Um,
you're getting it.
but fucking hell, bro. Like there's no way that you were out of you had nothing to take. And on the other hand, this is what I was gonna say. It almost does feel like a James Gunn thing to do. Because that's been my issues with him and how he handles superhero stuff. It's not about he's made it work, and a lot of people are fond of it. And this is why I'm always able to. You have to be, definitely, if you're going to own any business, you have to be able to separate what you enjoy and what you like and your personal preferences from like what is or is not, or what is or is not successful, right? And there's a lot of people that have that. It's an inability to do that. They really can't. They can't do that. But my issues that I had with him were the same issues, or like, for example, with Suicide Squad, same issues I had with Guardians. And that is that he cannot do characters true to self. He can't. He can make spins of various characters that have their own flavor, and maybe that hits with the audience. Superman is just not that character that you can do that with.
No,
you could do that with the Guardians because it's only nerds like me that knew who they were even a thing. So it's only me getting pissed off.
I had no idea who the Guardians of the Galaxy were.
I'm the only one that's you're more a DC guy anyway, right? Like so it's like I was the one that was nerding out about Drax and how this is a terrible, terrible way to handle Drax. This isn't Drax at all. He's not Drax the Destroyer. I don't know who this is. I was the one that was bitching about that. And the same could be said with some of the minus Joker, right? Some of the Suicide Squad guys as well, where you're handling these teams, and there's characters that people know, but they're not that attached to, so you have a lot of leeway to be able to just do some random shit, like, right? And it's just like they're only the character in name, and then it works in that setting. Peacemaker, I brought this up. A lot of people like that. I fucking despise it because it's not Peacemaker. It's not even close, right?
And it was just a fucking spiteful show against actual heroes, like when he was whinging about Batman and stuff like that. It's just like, fuck off.
Yeah,
you're John Cena fucking piece of shit. Can't lace the boots of a character like Batman. So just shut up. Yeah. To me, it was always a weird choice having James Gunn.
I thought it was bizarre. Anyway. I never liked it. I never liked it. But this will for sure prove me right if these leaks are for sure true. Holy shit. It wasn't that he was a bad choice. He might have been the worst. Because if you can't get Superman right, and you coming off the backs of how people feel some kind of way about Henry Cavill and his exiting of it, and then you had a chance, like didn't correct me if I'm wrong, I may be remembering wrong. Didn't they actually sit down with him and basically say that your services are no longer needed to Henry? Right? Mm-hmm. That was essentially what happened, give or take. Like, right, that conversation did take place. So you had that problem, and now you're going to go that route with it. If that's true, bros, this is going to be some fucked.
But I mean, it's fucked, man. Because what you do, you've made Superman. Let's say Superman doesn't succeed. It might do. We don't know yet. But we have no idea. We're playing with hypotheticals here. We're not trying to be doom mongers.
No.
Just based off the rumors.
I would never do anything that stupid. Yeah.
No. Just based off rumor, it's kind of like, okay. Who knows? It could be done in such a way that we come out going, wow, that was actually
James Gunn. He's a genius, right?
This man's genius. James Gunn, we trust. And I hope you get many little boys that touch you in your silly place.
Fuck. Well, that's what he wants.
That's what apparently so. That's what he said at 42 years of age.
That's what he said at 42.
That's what he said at 42 years of age. So I'm going to take it as a grown man that that's what he meant. You've got Supergirl coming next because it's being made. It's so
yeah, and based on Tom King,
based. So if they can't sell Superman, how the fuck are they going to sell Supergirl?
If they can't sell Superman, they won't be able to sell Supergirl.
So what happens then? Does everything halt? Seriously, does everything then halt production?
They have to get it right. This has to be a success, man. There's no other answer, right? It has to be. It has to be. Just the timing alone makes it so. And again, if it is a hit, they're going to be sitting very pretty. The main competition in the superhero realm is not doing the best of jobs, right? So you'd be sitting in a very comfortable spot if you can get this right, but you have to get Superman right.
Eric, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why would you go from Superman to Supergirl? Why wouldn't you be breaking it up? Why wouldn't you go from Superman to fucking Wonder Woman or Superman to just
one of the Trinity members? Yeah,
something.
Their Trinity. Yeah.
I mean, it should be going from Superman to Batman. It's what it should be doing.
Yeah, if not the opposite way, but yeah.
But why would you do two super back to back? Superman, Supergirl. Seems to be a lot of the same. Just
I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't. And then with Batman, it's like they don't even know what they want to do with that.
There is no Batman for James Gunn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? And then you have the Paddington or whatever the hell his name is. I call him Paddington. But him, like
emo man.
Yeah, like whatever is going on with it, nobody knows. I don't know, bro. Like I said, I think that DC's cinematic universe is in arguably the best position that it has been forever, because you can kind of concede that they try to, because of the success of Marvel at the time, they were trying to fast track and catch up, right? And this is why a lot of the narratives were just utterly fucking nonsensical. And James Gunn played a similar role in it, right? Like it was largely nonsensical what they were trying to do, but they were trying to play catch up. You know, Marvel they took their time, right? They had the Iron Mans, and then you had the Hulks, and then you had you got slowly but surely got to the event. That was a process, though. That was a process. They were trying to fast track it. So, considering how successful their competitors were at the time, and where they were trying to get, I do believe if they take their time, it would have landed a lot better. But you can concede that, okay, maybe look, they were the first
and not had Batman, fucking Superman, Doomsday in the second fucking film.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they were trying
Doomsday anyway.
They were moving quick, man, to try it, and maybe I'm wrong in it being the intention, but it felt like that was what was happening from my perspective, that they were just trying to catch up to Marvel. Right, that they were just trying to catch up to where they were at with their universe. That said, now they're in a much better position, right? It's essentially a big reboot. And again, the same universe that people have as a frame of reference, it's not the same frame of reference it was when you were trying to really pop off with the other movies. Right now, it's like, well, the Thunderbolts and Ironhearts and Agatha, it's not the same. It's just not the same universe. Look, I just put ass to sleep just by naming all of those, right? So you're in a different setting, which is an advantage to you, right? You have the reboot. So this is why I said they're sitting pretty, but it also is a lot riding on it. So if they can't get this right, that sets the tone for the rest of everything, and it doesn't set it for the better. That's for sure. So I hope, just for their own sake and even for the fans' sake that are so stoked about this, I hope for your sake, all of these rumors are just bullshit.
I said a long time ago when Snyder's first died I said, can we just make one good film? I don't think audiences are wanting to go through another universe, multi-year setup. I think they're done. I think Marvel did a thing, and that thing ended in 2019, and it was a monumental undertaking. And some of it was great, and some of it was, but it sort of wrapped itself up as nicely as it could. And that was a moment in time. I don't think people were just like, right, now let's get another one. I'm talking the majority of the people. I think the majority of people just like, okay, and that's where it ends. Now let's have a break, because this was 10 years of stuff to then just go, right, day one, this is another 10-year multi-arc, and then another company comes along and goes, and we're doing our DC 8-year plan with James Gunn and and then somebody else comes along and goes, we're doing a monster multiverse of man, 10-year, and audiences are just.
They got to get it. You're expressing exactly why they have to get it right. That's the only way it works. The only way this works is that, okay, you had Superman, and it was a monumental success. Everybody loves it. Their minds are jogging, right? They're like, well, Superman's great. Oh, where are the other characters that we know, that we expect and we anticipate with DC, which would be great if it works. But like I said, I question it. If that's the storyline, and look, I don't know shit from shit. I don't have access. Okay, so I don't know what the leaks are. I'm just saying at surface level, I just don't see that working, right? Unless they weave that in to where, again, everybody's leaving this movie thinking James Gunn is the best director / writer of all fucking time.
I promise you, when I see Superman, if I think the film's amazing, I promise you, I'll be the first person to sit here in front of the camera and go, I didn't have a lot of faith. I was wrong. This film's amazing. I'll be the first person who does that. I don't have a problem with doing that, because my brand isn't Superman or DC or Marvel or whatever it is. My brand is being as authentic as I possibly can. Yeah. That's my brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if it's great, I'll come out and go, do you know what, chaps? That is a great film. I'll do that. I have no problem with doing that. My ego is fine. It's fine.
I don't give a shit either. Like, I didn't even give a shit when I was
This could be the best film in the world. This could be the worst film in the world. This could be a mediocre threat. I'll just tell it how it is.
Yeah, be honest about it. Yeah,
just like when I play a video game. I'll play a video game, and if I like it, I like it. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. And I think it's mid, I'll think it's mid. That's what people like myself can bring to the table. It's just being authentic for people who watch our fucking stuff.
Right.
However many, few, or whatever it may be.
Right.
No, however, don't have hundreds of millions of dollars.
Not even close.
Riding on this stuff.
Not even close.
So if we did, maybe we might be producing something that was going to be a little bit more different. But that's why we're here, and the big dog is in that position.
Yeah, like I said, if it works, it works. I hope for y'all's sake. I hope for y'all's sake. I know there's a lot of people that are riding on this, have some high expectations for it. For y'all's sake, you can get some enjoyment out of it.
I would love it to be. I mean, just on a personal thing, I would love it to be great, because I'm a DC guy. I'm much more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. That's where what I was collecting. I was collecting DC, not Marvel. You know, pretty Marvel normie at the end of the day. You know, I know the sort of bigger stories and I know the bigger sort of characters, but overall, pretty much a Marvel normie. So even the kind of knowledge I have is still like probably a fucking shit ton more than just your regular person on the street.
Yeah.
So if I'm fucking checked out, what do you think they're going to be? But with DC, I really do want this to be good. I want this to be good. I want to see great iterations of these characters.
Absolutely.
I want to see great stories told with them. I want to see uplifting stories told with them. I want to see fun stories told with them. I want to come out of that cinema going, fuck yeah, Superman's back. He's back and it's great. And, you know, it's fucking an awesome feeling to have. When somebody appears to be an exceedingly insecure person living, who's the internet's living rent-free in the brain, that creates stuff like the incel army and creature commandos and stuff like that, then I think it's a fair thing to be slightly worried when you hear things about there's going to be a social media campaign against Superman. Because all that says to me is a lot of people who you shouldn't give two shits about are living rent-free in your fucking brain. Whoever those people may be.
Look, we'll see. Nonetheless, I'm pretty sure everybody will tell you how they feel about it. There won't be no shortage of opinions. So
I know I will.
Yes, exactly.
Good or bad?
Yes.
Okay, let's go through some supers.
Yeah.
Chitty chat. Calioth with a $10 says, Diamond, the gift that keeps on giving. Bankruptcy has a lawsuit from Alliance after the purchase was withdrawn for material malfeasance with Wizards of the Coast, and Diamond wants to keep the $8.5 million deposit. I bet they fucking do.
Yeah, I did see they pulled out of the deal. That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, you
remember, says to me they found something that maybe not have been declared.
The books were cooked. That's usually when stuff like that happens. Is like, wait a minute, what's that? Now, you remember as when I was supposedly not a professional because I didn't go through Diamond.
Oh yeah! Oh fuck yeah! Now that was a minute ago, wasn't it?
Wasn't that? Yeah, that's crazy how.
Yeah, you didn't. Otherwise, the Rippaverse would be such a great place right now.
Yeah, it would be great. I mean, maybe suffering the same fate as the other publishers that unfortunately had one fucking distributor that was them, and then when they went under, they didn't have an answer. Just wanted to bring that up because that's interesting. It's almost like maintaining distribution was a decent idea, but I don't know who. I'm incompetent. I don't know what's going on. As just a guy, lucky guy.
Just a guy. Yeah. By the way, did you see that somebody paid off that Korean guy's fine for punching Johnny Somali?
I did see that. That was it? He was like 7,000, right?
$7,000, and
that ain't cheap.
There was one for $3,000, and he's just posted the payment he made to him for $4,000. I don't advocate violence, folks. That's a terrible thing. Please don't in any.
But also don't go fucking around with people. How about just stop doing that? Maybe don't do that.
It'd be horrible if anything bad was to happen to Johnny Somali. Awful. Josh Kelsey dropping a 20. Josh, you're a legend. I love you, mate. Thank you so much. Considering you say so little, you mean so much.
Doesn't say anything.
Zeke Zion, he does when he has to. When he's got something to say, he'll say it. But that's
a man of few words. I respect that. I respect it.
I have to. It's the arm. I'm working out what. I'm like,
what the fuck is that? Yeah.
It's the arm. It's the arm of the. Okay, we got that. Zeke Zion with a membership for 36 says, I've been here for 3 years. You must be doing something right. Keep up the work. Zeke Zion. Thank you. 36 months.
Shout out.
3 years of membership. Moldy with a $5 says, if you feel compelled to apologize for your takes on things as a content creator, you've lost faith from the audience. Be your authentic self. 199. Well, I think there's times when you might, with it, an apology comes from yourself, from what you feel that you've overstepped. Okay. Now, if you say something that you believe in, that people go, you need to apologize for this. Like, I had people saying that I needed to apologize for my Starfield run. I do not in any capacity.
Yeah, I have people telling me I need to apologize for other people's one-sided affairs.
Yeah, so if there's something that you believe and people are demanding an apology, no, don't give that apology. You do not. You stand by what you said. Doesn't have to be the popular choice. But if you do something within yourself, you're just like, fuck, I personally didn't like what I did there, and this goes against me. I either just lashed out in anger, and I legitimately didn't really mean that. Then if you want to do that, that's your prerogative to do. But if you do that, that's for you and whoever you did. It's not for anyone else.
Yep.
You know, it's not for anyone else. I mean, the thing with, like, for instance, with the thing I had with Mr. Beast recently, where he wanted to have a go at me because I responded to a headline of a Kotaku article, which was not true. Kotaku made up a false headline, but Mr. Beast thought it was me that he needed to come after. Now, I said, I apologize to Mr. Beast for maybe I should have read the article, but it's Kotaku, so who gives a fuck? Because it's fucking Kotaku.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe he should have cast his ire a little bit more towards them. But, you know me? Okay, you know, whatever, pick your battles. Maybe one day that fucking smile will reach his eyes. The dead-eyed fucking git. But you know, I did that because that was between my apology from me to him. Nobody else. Nobody else. I don't give a shit about anyone else in that. That was just me to that. Psychotic Mongoose has been a member for 14 months. Thank you, Psychotic Mongoose. Lunel Star with $5 says, imagine a fusion of Star Wars and Beauty of the Beast. But about the time Leia and Jabba the Hutt spent together. Yay! Romantic body positivity horror. Wow. It's like me and Chat's mum's Beauty and the Beast. Have a nobody the hate monger with a $5 says TMZ reported that Robert De Niro's daughter came out as trans. In other news, which one? He's got like 58, and he probably. In other news, Terrence Howard reportedly turned down the role of Marvin Gaye because he's gay. I heard. I don't quite know the Terrence Stamp thing, but I heard that people are mad at him because he turned down the role of playing a gay man.
I didn't know Marvin Gaye.
I didn't know Marvin Gaye was gay.
Yeah, I didn't. That's news to me.
So were they trying to push that for the film? Were they trying to make a film about Marvin Gaye and push it? I don't know. So Terrence Stamp can choose whichever roles he wishes to take and whichever roles he does not wish to take. That is his prerogative. Skyjumper 12 with a $5 says Ripper trying to get caught up on issues and cards. When did set 2 of the document cards release?
I can't remember off the top of my head which. Was that an ISOM 2 collect? I can't remember.
Was it the second one? Was it
the second deck? It might have been. It might have been
Yaira.
It was one of those. It was either ISOM 2 or Yaira. I don't think it was Alpha Core. I can't remember. We're on deck 4 now. That's an ISOM 3.
Wow.
Someone say Yaira 1. Okay, so Yaira 1. Okay, so what's Yaira? Like I said, I couldn't remember, man. We're flying right now. So
Eric, the fact that I know more about your company than you do is enough.
I know, right?
But you
don't read the books or anything, so yeah.
Get out of it. Get out. Why would I waste my time doing that? Silly man.
Oh,
the 1992 space movie with a $10 says, a movie from 1992 is predominantly black. That is true. There's a lot of nice people in that film. Predominantly black, but no one is complaining about that movie. No, sir. You won't hear any complaints from parts of Soho. It's actually a very beloved and cherished movie of its time. Amen. Amen. And chat, you should really look up that 1992 space movie. Just put 1992 space movie into your search engine. It'd be fine. Britt Cormier with a $50.
That ain't cheap.
That ain't cheap. Here are the shows from the 1970s that had black leads, inverted commas. I watched and loved them all. The Jeffersons, Benson, Good Times, Sanford and Son. What's Happening? That is from a white guy born and raised in the South.
Yeah, maybe, can't go wrong with either of those.
Maybe they were just fun, you know. Maybe they were interesting. Yeah. Did I say Terrence Stamp? That's exactly what I meant. Terrence Howard, not Terrence Stamp. But maybe Terrence Stamp can also choose what films he wants to do and what he doesn't do, chat. Two things can be right at the same. Okay, let's move on. Calioth with a $2 says, you debunk poor player counts / with actual sales numbers.
Talking about the 3 million players.
Yeah, and yet we don't have any sales numbers for Assassin's Creed Shadows.
3 million players, baby.
That game fucking tanked. Who knew? I think progressives have done more to damage the perception of races, the perception of sexuality, the perception of religion, than pretty much any organization or group of people in the history of time. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah, that's impressive nonetheless.
Calioth with a $2 says, Lytton 25 with a $20 says, Chris Gore confirmed on the Nuno today. Listen, like I said, you need to kind of read between the lines of what I was saying there. You need to read between the lines of what I'm saying, because James Gunn apologized for those disgusting things, because they are pretty fucking disgusting. I mean, I make fun of a lot of shit, you know? I poke the fun at myself. I poke fun at other people. I riz other people. I riz other TV shows and whatnot. I don't think that comes across as funny or edgelordy. It just comes across as a little bit of a self-report. But James said it was his humor, and he's very sorry for that. And he absolutely believes in all of the apologies that he's made for them. So he cannot hold a vendetta. People can't be living rent-free in his head for canceling him, can they? Because the guy took responsibility for what he said and apologized. So he can't in any capacity be trying to live out that let's get him back. I'm Superman. I'm the Superman in this story, and I rise above the hate. Could he now? Because he's already has. Yes. Because if he is doing that, then that means he wasn't sorry for the things that he said, because he's mad at the people who said, look at you. You're talking about you want little boys to touch you in your silly place. So
yeah, not appropriate.
Not something I would personally joke about, but you do you, mate. You do you. Super Jones Bros with the $5 is the people who unironically defend Phase 4 are the same people who still wear N95s in 2025. Some people are stuck in a mental rut and refuse to move on. Look, I just think objectively, Phase 4 and Phase 5 have been appalling. I think that's just objective. I think the box office numbers really kind of support that as well from a lot of people. Mega fan with a 3 Australian says, what are your predictions for MGP final total? 150K?
My God, I mean, we have a sales goal of 100,000. So once that hits, we feel good
hit it
about
first.
it. Yeah.
I hope it goes to the moon, Yellow Flash.
Shout out Yellow Flash.
Yeah.
And Dillard.
But it seems to have got off to a decent start.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah,
fucking
most
good
definitely.
Start.
22. I mean, it's gonna you're talking 35 to 4,000 books at that point, which is a hell of a lot for it to get to that number. And yeah, we feel good about 100,000.
Nice. Oh, I think it's going to hit 100,000, no problem.
Oh yeah. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, no problem. Dragon Wise has been a member for 11 months. Dragon Wise, thank you. James Bursey with a $2 says, rumor that Bella Ramsey will play Buzz Lightyear. I could see that. She's got the jaw for it. God, Yellow Flash's fucking thumbnail yesterday. I was in tears laughing at that. Fucking hilarious. Calioth with a $5 says, apparently Diamond redacted contact end dates and Alliance did not disclose Wizards' contract was ending on the 30th of April, a key material asset.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Darth Gavel with a $2 says, I have a wood chipper James Gunn can touch in his city place. But he's sorry for what he said, Darth. So there's no way there could be anyway. Even though I might have had it confirmed. Okay, Eric. Before we go, what would you like to plug?
Go get the Mighty Golden Patriot on ripasend.com. Ripasend.com. Go grab that. While you're at it, get Gabriel and the Guardians Chapter 0 and also get Achromatic Chronicles by Jay David. So we have all those active. Of course, we got 3 projects active. ISOM 3, Hour 3, and Horseman number 1 over at rippaverse.com as well. Yeah, go grab those books. Other than that, may pop a stream in for a stream or something, but yeah, I got a lot of work to do. So we'll see you Monday on the roundtable.
Nice.
Yep.
I am going to take a little break and get some drink down me and get myself a little bite to eat. And then in chat, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back and stream some Expedition 33. So expect a drop of a room in a little bit. Mega fan with a through Australia says, want to bet if MGP will hit 125K, only 25K extra. Well, it's on 62K now. It doesn't end until the 26th of
it's
July.
like he wanted a 90-day campaign. Yeah. So we got
I think 125. I think it hits it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very doable for sure.
I think it hits it.
Very, very doable.
I would say yes, sir. I would say yes. Massive thank you to everybody who came to watch today. Gary, thank you very much indeed for the raid. Mods, thank you very much indeed for giving up your free time. Everybody who super chatted, remembered, gifted memberships, supporting the channel, thank you so much indeed. ISOM 3 is active on rippaverse.com. Yaira 3 is active on rippaverse.com. Horseman numero uno is active on rippaverse.com. Also, Golden Patriot is active from Yellow Flash on rippaverse.com. Go check him out. Go support him. We'll see you on Eric's channel next week for number 70. We're hitting the 70s now. It's like man. My age.
Crazy.
Until then, you take care. Goodbye, Blue.
Peace.